I think about architecture in relationship to desire, and this is triggered by having looked at that the Surrealist House show, just having walked round. I think of architecture as an organisational device, and it's an organisational device that structures experience, and it's structuring experience by channeling desire with a view to drawing forth ideas. So there's always, desire is always going beyond an idea. Desire never gets its ideas. And then I think with surrealism, there's always this attachment of surrealism to the idea of the subconscious, and I don't understand that. And I think because you've been interested in Duchamp, maybe you could explain that to me, or.
I think within this idea of architecture as a structure of experience, the surrealists were interested in breaking this architecture, existing architectures. By doing so, they created new architectures that then are assumed by people within the art world and the architectural world. And so there is a question of how that architecture, this new architecture of breaking the pre-existing architecture, is still operational as a system of questioning.
The piece that's not here but is definitely, well, this is, if you like, present by its absence, the Étant Donnés. That was made, as I understand it, Duchamp made that between about 1946 and 1966, so he spent 20 years making it, and that's at the end of his career.
In secret as well, no one knew about him making it for 20 years. He had a secret studio where he was collecting pieces and working. But it was a studio with two little separate rooms, so he would have this secondary studio where the work would be happening. His friends would visit him in the other part of the studio.
And they did, so it's behind us.
Yeah, a lot of his friends were actually very disappointed and shocked by the fact that they didn't really know anything about it happening while
they were sitting they were that so near and yet so far.
Or having intellectual conversations with him, but never really mentioning this.
But what about this idea that this show is claiming that it does it by stating it using words, and it also does it with some pieces that are placed at the entrance to the house, that Duchamp is the first architect. Can you say something about why, since you know a lot about Duchamp's work and I know very little, why those pieces do well, or perhaps maybe they don't, maybe they do badly, as the first bits of architecture for entering this exhibition?
Yeah, I think that the piece we want to discuss and examine a bit today, which is not really featuring in the show, is this piece by Duchamp, his last enigmatic piece, Étant Donnés. And somehow these two pieces that appear next to us over there are representations, like fragments of that final piece. They could stand for the two modes of experience of this piece, because it consists of a door and of the dummy of a female body. So we have the breast as a representation of the body, and this blackened window as the representation of the door, and it acts as an entrance, because Duchamp's piece somehow deals with desire and architecture. It could be seen as a kind of seminal piece in regards to the exhibition.
I've never seen the Duchamp piece, so could you tell me something about what it's like to actually go? You're walking around the museum, and, and then it draws you.
I should explain that, because it's a very particular museum experience. It breaks with what you expect of a piece of work within a museum, like a painting on a wall. It's not a single surface, but it's a deep space. And the first encounter is through a door, and that door is within a darkened room. And as you approach the door, you realize that there is light emanating from two peepholes that are drilled around head height. So as you approach...
And that's the only light
within that room.
Right,
It's a room which is off the main gallery where other pieces by Duchamp are displayed in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And you might miss that room because it's not really marked as another piece. So
there's a gallery, and then there's this room that is acting as a porch, as it were.
Yes, exactly.
And you might not go into it because it doesn't. Apart from the
I've
two.
heard that from people that visited the museum and missed it altogether because they didn't realise that they had to enter that side room. And you approach the door, and then what is quite interesting is that the door somehow awaits you. When you put your face on the door, then the gaze or the vision is projected inwards. There is another plane that stops the vision, which is a wall that has been broken, though, so you can see through. And the view that you see through is of a landscape bathed in light, and a female figure lying within grass or twigs. At the back there is a waterfall glistening. There is a slight movement. There is a trick, a light trick
flickers a bit.
that flickers in
is it when you find yourself, as it were, sort of glued to this door? Are you expecting to see a landscape through there? I mean, not expecting is the wrong word, but how surprising is it that what you look into? Do you really think you're looking into a landscape, or do you know it's a kind of constructed, artificially made, lantern-like world through there?
It's like a diorama, and although it depicts a landscape, the sense that you have of the interior is a quite domestic or a quite interior space. It's an exterior interior. It's both at the same time. And
what about the figure? Do you know? You presumably you immediately know it's a figure of a female figure.
Yeah, it's a female figure displayed and in a kind of pornographic pose, exposing genitalia, and but the face is hidden, and she's holding a gas lamp, and it has been described as a body resulting from an act of violence, because it looks as if it's left there in the landscape, but at the same time it's holding a gas lamp, and it's as if it's returning the look. Although you can't really see the face, you have a sense of being looked at by that nude body.
So it feels like it's a live body.
It feels like
it's still got some vision.
Yeah, and it might be that this vision derives from that gas lamp. Somehow the gas lamp, the tactility of holding a gas lamp stands as a kind of single eye returning your view, or at least that's how I've seen it.
And are you, when you look at it into this, are you struck by the body? I mean, in a way, what you're describing being struck by the body as in some way fragmented, but it's not an alarming fragmentation. It's more you know, the sense that it's looking back at you.
The head is missing, and it's that the break on the wall severs parts of the other limbs. One single hand is intact, but the other arm and the two legs are severed by the.
But it could be that it's that the opening that you're looking through, not the two vision points of vision, but the brick wall that's been torn.
Mm-hmm.
That's cropping what is